Crude volume.
Silver volume.
Good morning. Alright, so let's look at what happened yesterday. So my first trade idea for yesterday was a break above the overnight session, the overnight high, which when I was doing the video we started to break above the previous high and it looked like we were coming down, but then we held that and then we broke out of the new overnight high again. So there was a few opportunity entries, all held. You see all these lows held above the previous week's high, and what I said is that if we hold this area, that the target would be 69.60. It was a grinding day. It was very painful price action. I have to say that I couldn't hold all the way there. I put my stop a little too close at one point. I thought we were reversing, but then it just kept going and going and going. We hit that 69.60, and then we had the Nvidia's earnings, which created this spike up. Then the 5 p.m. closes up here at 74. What is it? 76ish. But then the settlement is down here, right where the point of control is at 69.60. Hold on, let me just mute the tick strike. Okay. Alright, so now we have overnight we're still holding it. Originally so this is a trending day, of course, right? And when we opened the overnight session, then we dumped pretty strong. We almost tested value area low, and then we started grinding higher again. So, you know, all this so far is pretty bullish. We're holding above this previous range. We're holding above the previous week's high. We're holding above the monthly pivot. We're holding above the yearly VWAP, above the 50 DMA, above the 21 EMA, the 20 DMA. So like all this is pretty bullish, right? Now, one thing to notice that yesterday's day had pretty low volume, and we were in an environment with a lot of positive gamma, which when you're in positive gamma, what happens is that every time there's a buyers, the market makers have to hedge the opposite direction, right? So and every time there's a seller, they have to buy. So pretty much like you create this like volatility dampening environment, and that's why we had this grinding action and just slowly moving higher, right? So so far it looks like for today we also have positive gamma, and we are just now trading at resistance. You can see also this delta imbalance right here, a bunch of it, right? And then if we hold above this area, right, so if we break above the overnight high and we hold this, then we have a previous target here, 92, and then we have this all-time high. So the way I'm seeing this is that this is whenever you enter back into a previous accepted area, right, this distribution, it's like a look above and fell, a look below and fell, pretty much like you know how we do these trades, look below and fell, and then we take that long in day trading. Well, imagine the same thing but in the big, like slowing it down, right? So we're trading about in this range, we look below it, we fail to hold below it. So what happens when you come back into the range? What should happen is that we should test the upper side of this range, right? So I'm looking for this area, which also is where the SPX 7000 strike is at, and that's been a magnet for a while, and so it looks like it's at play again. You can see a lot of volume there on SPX. So as long as we hold above the overnight high, I think 7,000 on SPX, so basically the top of this range is at play. It could also be a grinding action like yesterday, who knows, we'll see. But first we gotta get through this area, and this is pretty strong resistance for now. So now the other trade idea for today is that because we're trading above yesterday's value, what I'm looking for is my favorite trade, which is the value area sweep, which is if you come back inside value, it's kind of like a look above and fail, right? Like we're looking above yesterday's value. If we fail to hold and we start seeing bearish internals and come back inside and hold below yesterday's value high, which is right here at 65-ish, then the trade will be to look for a retest of yesterday's value area low at 69.40, which is also where that monthly pivot is. Now if we get below that, this is, let me turn off the overnight session. So if we get below that, then we have a gap here that we left, that we never filled, and a previous close down here. So this is a gap that everybody's going to be watching. So if we get below the lows from yesterday, looking for a move, first you're going to have some support here, so be careful with a gap fill, because it could be a little hard to fill, just because you have this moving averages here, you have this high volume node here, and bulls have been pretty strong lately, so it could be a gap that's not that easy to fill, but sometimes it just goes. So watch internals, watch the price action, and that'll tell you the what you need to know in regards of how fast or how slow it might fill or not. The other trade will be an attempt to fill the gap, look below and fail. If we fail to hold below these lows and come back into the range, then to me that's a long signal to either come back to this 6960 area, which is this high volume node, or whatever the developing point of control is at that point. So like if we were building a lot of volume around here, then that would be my first target. And then maybe leave a runner and see, depending on the order flow. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that if we come back and fill the gap and start trading inside value and hit this area, then there's a chance that this is seen as a look above and fail, so the opposite of what I was saying before, and then we just do this whole range back down into this 68.50 area, right? I mean, look at this, boom, 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 boom. We've been trading in this range for a while. We finally break above it, but if it doesn't hold, there's a lot of inventory here, so it might, it wouldn't surprise me basically that to move through the range pretty fast. So and the last option, which I haven't mentioned, is that we just balance here and do nothing the whole day, and we have a normal distribution day, and then what there is to do is just fade the edges back to the middle. So as soon as we recognize what type of day it is, the sooner the better, so we can get an idea of the opportunities we're gonna have throughout the day. Okay. Same scenarios for NQ, same gap. The only thing is that in NQ, it went all the way through the top of that range, right? It took last week's high and then the previous week's high too. But it's kind of catching up because ES is way above the 2026 open and NQ is just getting above it. So, and it's still below the monthly pivot. So, got some catching up to do. But it did touch the 50 daily moving average there. Silver rejected that on that, I mean pulled back on that resistance area that we had marked on the chart for a while, and it's back to that 86 area I pointed out the other day. Starting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day of balance. Same thing with gold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of balance. 5200 is the 5 day point of control. So watching this zone as support, the 5120 to 5140. If we get below that, 5080 is the target to the downside. Gold, I mean, crude got it got sold apparently on Iran news. So let's see. So crude, let's make this bigger. So you can see how this move up here, it started, you know, we put a lot of volume here and then it slowly started dripping lower. I had mentioned this area to watch it, 6520, it broke below it. Now we came back into this where the moving averages are again, because we were trading here through all this time. So now we just gotta watch and see if this this 6360 holds. If it holds, we could just hang around this area for a while. So I'm probably gonna watch this as, so this is the previous area where we were holding, the 6520. So this is now, it was support, now looking at this resistance area, and then I'm looking for crude to trade in this, within these ranges between 6320 and 6520. Alright, what else we got? Today we have some Fed speaking and some auctions, but that's about it. Tomorrow we have PPI and core PPI, Chicago PMI and all that, so that's it. Alright, good luck.